welcome. I just would like to show you the lovely new project I'm gonna start, and I wanted to show you before and after a dollhouse, which I'm planning to redecorate and restore. And this is a lovely old vintage dollhouse which needs a little bit TLC and a little creative touch. So let's get started. For this project I was using very chic chalk paint and a varnish, and we started with the sanding first all the old wallpaper and paint to be ready for painting. After sanding, we use a primer to make all the house ready for chalk paint. I let this dry through the night, and I started painting the front part of the house with the Sen chalk paint. I needed to cover the pink color, I needed to add 3 layers of paint at least, and for the wood parts I used white. Also for the windows we installed the wood frames instead of the plastic to keep it longer, and for the gaps to fit the windows I used a decorative caulk. After the caulk was dry through the night, I used again chalk paint to cover and paint all white the windows and all the wood parts. And as you can see, it is very precise in the small details to be painted. So you need to make sure that all these won't be dripping the paint, and in between the lines there will be no these little paint spots. So I had to paint 2 times to make sure all the frames are painted well. I let the paint to cure and dry overnight for all the front, and before putting the varnish on top. So in the meantime I started sticking the wallpaper of the floor, and this was quite thick paper, and that took so I used the varnish glue, and for best results I would suggest paint the actual surface and then paint the actual wallpaper and then stick it together, but make sure do it very precise and correct, because otherwise you can't lift it up and peel it off, because it's gonna be like very strong sticking together. For the other floors, as this corridor, hall and bathroom and the kitchen, I used printed out from ink printer on the sticky paper. I would suggest maybe to do this actually more for the wallpapers as the floor, just for the use of reasons, because it's very sensitive. The ink might bleed when I wanted to put the varnish on top, so because of the wetness. So what I did, I first sprayed with the for fixing charcoal paintings, you know. So first I sprayed for fixing the ink waited until that dried, and then when I start putting varnish, actually it helped because the ink wasn't bleed out, so that was a good tip. For the stairs, I created this dark gray color, mixing chalk paint, light gray and black, and just to cover the sides, and I used epoxy glue to stick the wood together to make sure they are strongly cured. And when I painted the other side of the stairs, I used a thick cardboard and sticked again to make sure they all in place and strong to keep it. For the middle part, I used the Velcro and as a carpet base. So as you can see, that really made the stairs looking realistic and strong and ready to put to the dollhouse. For the bigger parts, the walls at the inside, I used the roller to make the smooth painting looking effect, and it was faster and easier to cover all the parts. For the sticky paper, before sticking on the wall, I varnished the wall with the varnish. That would help to smoothen the surface and stick better. I started from the one end and continue until all the wall was sticked. Then after this we start varnishing all the surfaces to make sure all the chalk paint is protected, and for better use in the long run is better suggested to use the varnish on top or the wax. It depends on what you prefer, but for this case I use varnish for all the surfaces to be protected. And this is how the final project looks like with all things in place. I'm so happy to do this project, and thank you for watching. And please, if you like, subscribe and follow our channel. Be Creative Art Hub. Bye.
I'm just trying to get to you like